Hey everyone, Jerry here and you're watching my guide to Better Than Walls. Today I'm talking about world generation, or rather, changes to world generation. Now, world generation changes used to be a big no-no in the development of the mod. However, after the Hardcore Hunger update, Flowerchild has kind of changed his stance on it in order to provide a more full game experience to those who actually enjoy the mod. So this has led to a range of stuff that not only increases immersion into the world, but it also adds very different gameplay elements to the game, or rather emphasizes elements that are already in the game. One of these elements is caving, which is what I'm going to start with here. I've built a little mineshaft here, so if we take our elevator here down. Now, this is just a normal cave here. You can chop the stone with a stone pickaxe, and you can see if I can manage to do this before I go out of range. There we go. Okay, it dropped down. Anyway, as you can see, now that we're descending further, the stone has actually turned into a darker shade of grey. Now, I cannot pick this with a stone pickaxe. You can see there's no cracks appearing. However, an iron pickaxe will do the trick for me. Basically, the stone has become harder and darker. Now, if we continue down as the elevator does, because I can't really stop it now, you can see there's one final layer of stone here which is even darker than the one above. Now, this layer of stone here, even the iron pickaxe cannot really touch. So you need the diamond pickaxe in order to harvest this. Now, all these stone types all give normal cobblestone when mined with a regular pick. However, if you do have a silkless pick, you can pick it up with the new texture. Not only does this change allow for caves to look absolutely awesome when you're down here at lava level, it also allows you to see where diamonds can spawn very easily, because the diamonds can only spawn in this very dark stone here. In addition, it also makes bedrock seem way less out of place, in that as you descend into the deeps, stone will turn darker and harder, and basically, the diamond is the hardest material we have at the moment, so that's why we can only mine this layer. However, if we had something even harder than diamond, then the bedrock seems like it would be mineable as well. So that's an immersion thing. Now, these changes actually only affect stone. However, as you can see in the ores here, the visuals are transferred over to the ores as well. However, even though this is lapis, you can still... Now, the stone pickaxe might not do it. I'm just checking quickly. Okay, so just like when the stone pickaxe can actually pick up lapis. You can of course also use the iron pickaxe, but just to confirm again, you can't use it on the actual walls, only the ores. So the ores remain unchanged even though the visuals have kind of been altered. Now, the gameplay significance of this is that in order to find your first diamonds and actually be able to mine this stone here, you need to go spelunking. If you're not caving, then you won't find any diamonds and you'll be in trouble in terms of actually ever getting through this layer of rock. Now, getting to the nether is a very big part of this mod, so getting to diamonds is of course then also a very big step forward. So in order to find these precious diamonds that you have to find uncovered here, the most recommended solution is basically find a cave that goes all the way down and then dig out every bit of dirt and gravel you see. Shovels also has the advantage of having higher durability than stone and wood pickaxes. As a final note on the hardcore stratification here, I have found a ravine where you can actually see all the different strata and their layers. As you can see, this one goes all the way down to diamond level actually, which is... Not only is it very convenient that you can actually see that this is diamond level, but it also makes the ravine actually look very deep, like it's burrowing probably into the ground, and there's actually something strange down and dangerous down there. As you can see, I've moved into the desert, and I've done that in order to highlight the next change that we're talking about. This is desert temples. As you can see here, the most obvious one, of course, is that the filigrees and decorative elements in this temple here have now been replaced with obsidian. Now, this might seem like a small change, but in terms of immersion and in terms of looking good, it does the job quite well. Basically, wool has always seemed like a strange material to build something that has been standing here for maybe I don't know, thousands of years. So obsidian is more beneficial choice, and also again, if this is a temple, they're supposed to honor a god somehow, so using a hard to get material would make more sense for whoever built it. Now if we go inside this temple, you can see there's already a hole here, there's a ladder going down, and there's no TNT or a pressure plate in the bottom here. Instead, these chests have been looted and only the rotten flesh and bones are left. This is a so-called looted desert temple, and it happens to automatically to all temples that are generated within about 2000 blocks of spawn. This is done to kind of prevent upsetting the early game balance, in that if you find iron or diamonds in this, you're basically skipping ahead several hours in your playthrough, and you're missing out on not only a lot of fun, but you're also more inclined to lose interest in your world, because you haven't fought for what you have, and that's a big part of what Better Than Wolves is. You put in the work, you get the rewards, and you feel like you really own and deserve those rewards. A somewhat similar change has been made to dungeons. Now they're not all of them consistently looted. Instead, the amount of loot they contain depends on how deep below the surface they are. That's it. So it's kind of tied to the strata that they're in. Now we have a dungeon right here. It's on the surface, and if I look here, I should find a spawner right beneath. Yeah. So we have a spider spawner, and if we then remove this one here, there should be a chest. Excellent. And we can see it only has a piece of bread and a saddle. Now this might not be completely unheard of even in vanilla, that you can get something this rubbish, but in general, at least, the loot will be quite rubbish when you're exploring a surface dungeon in Better Than Wolves. Instead, as I said, if you find a dungeon far beneath the surface, then there's a much higher chance of getting some good loot. Also, on a related note, a recent change to Better Than Wolves have made it so that if you mine any block that normally would be mined with a shovel, with a tool that's not a shovel, you instead get piles. You get 3 piles, and if you have 4 piles, you can convert it into a full block again. This change basically makes it much more reliable to mine stuff with a shovel, because you don't end up losing material. Remind you that you need to keep a shovel in your inventory. Like with the looted temples, all villages within a certain range of the spawn point will have their fields dried up and the houses abandoned. Now these villages will generate without looting the blacksmith, they'll generate without crops here, but they will still be able to provide you with some free shelter. They still have the bookshelves in here for a bit of convenient loot there. But in all other aspects, they are completely void of life. Like with the desert temples and jungle temples, this was done to balance the early game so that you could not skyrocket ahead if you found a village and gained access to both sustainable crops and a lot of potential loot from the blacksmith. While I'm on the topic of villages, there's also been another slightly minor change here, in that instead of being a fence post with a pressure plate on top, these tables are now actually the table block from the mod. They're actual tables, and you can place stuff on them. The lampposts in villages have also been changed, in that instead of being a piece of wool up here, it is now a bit of spruce wood. Again, wool is a very strange building material for anything that's supposed to last, so this makes a lot more sense. Now, as you can see on the lamppost here, the torches have also been removed. This has to do with another change in Better Than Wolves, in that torches are now a lot rarer, in that you need 1 piece of coal for every torch. As a final note on villages, when you do come across one that's still inhabited by its villagers, you will notice that it will never have both carrots, potatoes and wheat at the same time. Instead, most of the villages will actually only have wheat, with a select few of them having either potatoes or carrots. Now, this change was introduced to promote exploration, to promote using the nether for transportation, because the villages are generally so far away from spawn that traveling there by foot overland is gonna be a major time and resource investment, whereas if you create a nether portal like a couple hundred blocks away in the nether, then you have a shortcut out into the distance where villages can actually spawn with their inhabitants still alive and their crops intact. Okay, that is all for this episode. Next time I'm gonna be talking about some of the lesser changes to Better Than Wolves that have been made. I think I've covered all the big ones for now, but there are still a number of smaller ones which still form a kind of a symbiosis with each other, and then there's a bit of random stuff as well which I'm gonna try and put in there. So until next time, I'm Jerry, and this has been Jerry's Guide to Better Than Wolves.